Sierra Sierra, India Kilo 1 Sierra Lima Delta, copy 5, over 5. Welcome everybody on board Space Station. Initially I was a little bit confused because it's a very new and different environment, but my first feeling was one of awe. I was just very emotional when we stopped the engine of the rocket. It was in the night, and the first time that I saw the curve of the Earth, it was I could see sunrise over the curve of the Earth, and it was so beautiful to see the thin blue line of the atmosphere. It was amazing. I was like, entering a cathedral maybe, or almost a religious feeling. Over. Yes, it is a big problem. It took me several weeks to get used to zero-G, and I know when I come back to Earth, it will take me several weeks to get back used to gravity, but I will have a lot of people taking care of me and helping me. However, the astronauts who will go to Mars, they will have to work the day they land on Mars, and so we have to find a way to make the transition to different gravities, easier on the body and the mind of the astronauts. So we experiment with this. Exercise is a big way to counteract the bad effects of the changes of gravity. But you highlight a very important problem. I think it's great that there's so much interest from the private sector. It's a good sign that the technology is getting mature. I think there will always be professional astronauts for the very, the most ambitious missions, but like going to Mars, for example. But self-funded human spaceflight, I think it's a normal evolution, a bit like for a flight. Initially, there were only a few people who could afford to fly airplanes, and it was very risky government business to try, and now it's almost entirely private. Over. Many important medical problems to solve before we can make these extremely deep space missions like going to Mars. There's the effect of radiation, so cancer prevention, we have to make big advances. Then there's, of course, the areas of neurology, and we're not sure what the big effects are on the brain yet. We see some effect on the eyes, but there's a lot of research to be done there. And of course, reacclimatization is an important one. How do you go from different levels of gravity in a very efficient way? And maybe, even more important perhaps is the psychological aspect. This is a human adventure, and the human aspect is maybe the most important for the success. So my first advice is listen to your heart, listen to your dream. A dream is a beautiful thing to have. A dream is the most powerful force in your life. So if your dream is to be involved in the space program, you can do it. And my suggestion, well, you know, you got to stay in university, you got to go to university, you got to study something that you love. The reason why you have to study something you love, the only way to be really good is to do something you love. So find something you love and be the best at it. Second, take good care of your body. It's very important in life, especially for astronauts. Take care of what you eat and exercise a lot, and you know, consider your body your most cherished treasure in your life. And third, practice having the astronaut mentality. That is to be trustworthy person, someone who can be given missions and will accomplish, someone who, when they say they will do it, they do it. That's very important, I think, to be become a responsible adult, someone who can be trusted with responsibilities. Over. So everything we do on space station, in a way, is related to that next step. Here we're learning to live in space, far away from Earth. But it's a bit like we're camping in our backyard of our home. And next we're going to go really deep into the forest. The same equipment, similar, but everything has to be more reliable. Everything has to be more ready. So this is like a practice. The life support, the communication, the experimental aspect, the medical aspect, all of that technologies we're developing in space station, and we will use them on the moon. Over. Challenges really was managing my amazing professional life with my amazing personal life. I am married, I have 3 beautiful children that I love, and it's a big challenge to be a good astronaut and a good husband and a good father and a good friend and a good son, and to have all these roles in life. And I think it's a challenge everybody has. It's the challenge of finding the right balance. And only when your mind and your body and your soul are in balance, then that's when you are at your best performance. So for me, that's a big challenge, is to maintain every aspect of my life in balance constantly. Over. I think the most important aspect of time management is setting priorities. Make sure you take care of the things that are most important first, and then maybe you can sacrifice the other ones if there's no more time. But the most important is to think, what is really important for me, what is important for my life. I will deal with that first. Maybe sometimes the important things are scary, or they're impressive, or you don't feel like doing them.
Bon, alors là, je crois que c'est terminé. Là, je reçois plus rien. Je reçois plus rien du tout. Mais ça passait bien quand même. Oui, donc bah oui, ça passait bien, voilà. Bon, Ouais. Donc oui, Julien, une belle leçon de vie. Bah, ouais, ouais. Ouais, j'ai pas tout compris, mais bon, je voyais qu'il parlait de ses enfants, de ses amis, de... Bon, voilà, quoi. Voilà. Voilà, donc pour direct, c'est direct. Allez, bonne soirée à tous. Et 73, ciao.